We're a value creation company. We try and assist manufacturers in the United States improve their bottom line through process improvements, automation in the supply chain, leaning out things in general. And what I do for Stellar is I've just got the dream job. I get to meet new customers, see different processes, recommend change, and then help implement it, and all for the greater effect of improving their bottom line. What surprises me most when I walk into a plant, a manufacturing facility today, is the continued use of outdated tooling. I'll see a modern machine tool that's been purchased for over $500,000, and then to drive that machine and to utilize it, they'll use 1950s tool holders or 20-year-old tool assemblies that have come and gone and seen their better days. And it's shocking to see if you're going to invest that much capital that you wouldn't want to put the most efficient tooling and the most modern technology on it. To really assess whether you have a lean mentality or not, I think it goes further than just the buzzwords like Six Sigma. You need to ask yourself, are you top-down focused from the top shelf of management down to drive lean into every aspect of your business, and then to verify, are we doing things in the most efficient way? Are we really focused on lowering cost of operations, not just price point of a single item or a cutting tool or a holder? Are we looking at throughput requirements and making decisions based on what we're going to ship next week rather than what it costs to get us there? Focus on the throughput, not on the actual machining process of drilling one hole on one part on one machine. Automation is king. Whether we're talking about automating a setup procedure, automating a machining process, or automating the supply chain through items such as utilizing RFID technology or a automated vending system or a automated replenishment system that is anticipating what your production plans have been input, and then making sure you have exactly what you need when you need it, not before and not after. Some of the things we see that impede production in today is a stock out, wasting time. A machine's ready to go. It's costing $200 an hour for that labor overhead and the machine to sit there, and we forgot to order an insert or a tool or a reamer. So I think a little better planning is paramount, a little better communication, anticipating that you're going to need these things. And when you order a material, that's when you should be deciding, do you have the right tooling, the right holding, and the right fixturing in order to make that part? So today we need to look at several things. Most importantly, are we choosing the right cutting tool? Are we choosing the right holding mechanism? And are we choosing the most modern programming techniques? So it's about finessable moves of how you're holding the tool and what tool you're actually holding. So no longer is it, okay, we've got to grab a cobalt drill, put it in a drill chuck, and then poke a hole in a part. There are many more productive ways to machine parts today than there were even 5 years ago. If you ask yourself, should I rush out today and make many changes in my plan? I would say no. It's best to slow down so that we can make more effective decisions with proper analytics. First, I think we need to take a very hard look at current state. Look at what's most important, where's the biggest drain of either time or money, and then focus the efforts there. It's back to the 80-20 rule. 20% of the spend is going to be 80% of the cost. There was a third-generation machine shop that was utilizing 20-year-old technology, but coming under extreme price point pressure to their customer, who was demanding each year of a LTA 5 to 10 to 15% price reduction of the items they were selling that customer. And they were ready to walk away from the company. We can't cut out that much cost out of the items we sell them, is what they communicated to me. And they were scratching their head and wondering, what are they going to do? Have to close the doors after 3 generations. So we went in and said, let's take a look at your machine tools, your methods, your production processing, how you make your parts, what tooling are you using, how are you holding them. Let's do a few experiments. And we found out that basically their core of business was turning, drilling, boring, fine boring, and possibly reaming. So we needed to focus on how can we educate their employees and also show them some of the more modern ways to make a hole or to do an OD turn, and what is the best way we could help them lower their cost of manufacturing. The end result was, after a series of 3 training events and several trials on their floor to change how they make an original hole in a product, they saw up to 80% reduction in cycle time. And they were able to meet those price point pressures of what they sold their products to the customer, and overall were able to turn around and reinvest in more modern machine tools, which gave them further efficiencies, which they then did the wise thing and invested in more efficient tooling, more efficient programming software, and the 4th generation has entered the company now, and it's going to survive as a legacy. So the effect long term was they went into a recapitalization program. Instead of living with the 20-year-old machine tools, they started upgrading each department to the most modern machine tool, which allowed them to make more money and lower their cost of operations even further, also increase their throughput per hour, which allowed them to make more money to reinvest in even more modern technologies and improve their cost position. It added net profit to them, gave them the ability to survive for a 4th or a 5th generation. To answer the question on why does every manufacturing facility not have a all-in attitude on lowering cost and utilizing process improvements, it's got to be driven top-down. If upper management is not fully invested and aware of manufacturing economics, and time is more important than the money it takes to invest in it, then it will fail. It's got to be a culture. It's got to be through education, practical application. We've got to work together as a team. I think most manufacturing plants cannot do it on their own. They've got to have productivity improvement partners. They've got to work with the manufacturing community of both holders and machine tools and cutting tools in order to have the right group of people to advise them and help train them and help implement new strategies. Stellar Industrial has come up with a unique model to assist customers in improving their processes. We employ industry specialists in metalworking and abrasives and safety and others that we can utilize along with manufacturers' employees to be boots on the ground right at the machine, helping to train and implement and prove new technologies. It's always a treasure hunt when we enter a new facility. We're looking for opportunities to improve. We can't assess a company from the parking lot. We've got to get interactive with their employees and have an open dialogue about, where's your pain? How could we help? What's most important to you? Then through our investigation together, we can identify things that they may not have even been aware of and affect great change, which adds net revenue to their bottom line. So one of the ways to start first in analyzing how to help a company improve is taking the top 10 items that they make, especially if it's on a long-term agreement with one of their customers, and seeing what buckets they fall into. Is it the bulk of it from bar stock? Is it they're all 6-inch by 6-inch square? What is the most important and largest process in metalworking that they do under their roof? Is it milling? Is it drilling? do training on the largest machining processes, and we'll have the biggest return on investment quicker. When we enter a plant, quite often there are certain things that come to my attention quickly, which they may not see. One is, if I see a holder that is obviously older than 3 to 5 years, I'm questioning, when's the last time you looked at that? I think two is that I'm always looking for, are there bottlenecks anywhere in the plant? Do I see a lot of parts and whip piling up on the floor? The third thing I'm always looking for is, do I see one man at a machine, or do I see a one man serving 3 or 4 automated and tightly controlled machines? I'm also looking to see if they're prepared for the next setup to be done on the machine tool. If they're not, then I know those are several questions I'm going to ask them when we get back to the office and say, tell me more about this. Stellar develops partnerships not only with our customers, but with our supplier community. So we have a program where we ask the manufacturers to give us more training, give us a better discount so that we can offer that to the manufacturing community. And in turn, we're going to ask for a lot more of your time to help us do process improvements for our customer base. And it's a win-win-win situation. How Stellar partners with the manufacturing engineering community is when we enter a customer and we're meeting with their MEs, we're trying to give them the education and the power to help control the process from the top down, not the bottom up. It used to be the Class A machinist at the machine deciding method, cutting tools, holders, and the output was a part. In today's environment, we need to empower the manufacturing engineer and the programmers to utilize the best CAD/CAM software, to also verify it, to also select the right method, and we're consultative in that realm. Then also, when we get to how can we make this part feature on this machine, then we're being an advisor and a collaborator. There is no one way to make each item. So it's going to be some of the art in how we utilize the most modern technologies to drive the process and control it, and then do it that way for a significant period of time. So we then have the right data to analyze, and then start again, and then review the process. Cutting tool materials are advancing every day. Coatings are advancing, holding mechanisms, and definitely the machine tools software is advancing both in speed and how fast they can reposition a machine tool without affecting the machining process or the tolerance. One good example on how we helped a manufacturing engineer implement a tighter control in the machining process was we observed that they were still issuing a work order to the floor, and it was the setup man who was going to choose what holding mechanism, what collet system, and truly what cutting tools in order to make the part. There was a valid program, but the setup sheet did not include a finite tool holder list. So we helped delineate that you must select everything and control everything. Assign a specific internal part number for each holder, retention knob, collet, nut, cutting tool, and insert, and then build it and assemble it in virtuality and also on the setup sheet so that it eliminates choice. So that the next time you run the part or you make a similar part feature, you're going to use the same tool holder assembly, same tooling setup, and the exact speed and feeds, and you should get the same result. The way hidden profits are always uncovered is by investigating the data, observing where there are bottlenecks or scrap or failed processes, and then attacking them headlong through taking a look at where we're at, what needs to be done in order to fix that and eliminate from happening again, and then moving forward. It's paramount that we do this as a community, and it saves jobs. It allows people to reinvest and get better. And be here long term instead of just for a moment.